Rafael Fiziev is standing on the edge of irrelevance. At 1-4 in his last 5 fights, Rafael Fiziev's once intimidating striking pedigree no longer looks like an impossible mountain to climb. And I know what you're thinking.
Manuel Torres has never faced anybody like Rafael Fiziev. He lost to Bahamondes and Fiziev beat him.
But MMA math doesn't work like that, and you may be in for a surprise. Fiziev struggles when fighters put him on the back foot. Sure, there's some nuance to that, but Manuel Torres thrives at coming forward and putting fighters on the defensive. That's where things get difficult for late-stage Fiziev, and that's why MMA math doesn't work. Rafael Fiziev is fighting for his relevance in a promotion that feeds the old to the young and hungry. For Manuel Torres, it's feast or famine all the time. The only question is whether Rafael Fiziev still has enough left to avoid becoming another stepping stone. And I'll be honest with you guys, Rafael Fiziev has only lost to great fighters if we exclude the hurting his leg against Mateusz Gamrot. And even then, like, Mateusz Gamrot is a worthy fighter to lose to. But if you look at who he's lost to, it's been Marcusio Rufi and Justin Gaethje outside of that Mateusz Gamrot leg hurt loss, which I think he was probably on the way to winning, but he still lost that fight. So 1-4. 2 of those are to the current reigning champion. So yes, Rafael Fiziev has fought nothing but killers, and when he fights like an Ignacio Bahamondes, he does well. Manuel Torres is a different kind of fighter. He is a forward pressure fighter. He is a fighter that thrives in breaking fighters in like chaos and stuff. So while I do recognize that Fiziev has fought completely different kinds of fighters, he still needs to worry about what Manuel Torres can do, because it doesn't seem like he can take damage. Going back and watching that Rufi fight, it really concerned me because he looked great. Fiziev looked great in his last fight against Marcusio Rufi. He was landing the low kicks. He was really coming forward and putting Rufi on the fence. Manuel Torres isn't going to do that, but what really kind of stood out to me was, while yeah, Rufi did land some good shots, he didn't particularly land super clean until that last strike. And if Rafael Fiziev's if his chin is shot, what is there for him? What is he going to do against a Manuel Torres? And it concerns me so much because of what Fiziev has always been to this division, kind of a staple-like fighter who always, he's going to bring out a good fight for you on the night. And if he can't do that any longer, what is he there to do besides collect CTE? I don't want to see a Fiziev. I don't want to see any fighter go out and just get blasted over and over again. Like, that is not what this is about. There's got to be a time to hang it up, and if Fiziev is like right on the edge of that, right on the edge. Sure, Justin Gaethje didn't knock him out, and he had a long time off with the Mateusz Gamrot. But like, I get that he's young, but like with the stadium Muay Thai fights and now the MMA career, it's kind of like, how much more do you have left to give? Now his opponent is very tough. Manuel Torres is a hard-nosed fighter that brings a pressure like no one's. I don't want to say like no one's seen, but he's a pressure fighter. But upon watching like what Manuel Torres does, he has a great 1-2. Fiziev, he moves his head. He has really good head movement. And if he's cognizant of that, and he's cognizant of Manuel Torres trying to change angles, and if he watches his footwork, which I think is the caveat there, watches his footwork onto the side, pivoting on angles, and kind of crossing his feet. Manuel Torres doesn't have great footwork. He has some good ideas, but he's constantly like off of his power base and out of position and overextending. If you watch him against Bahamondes, that's kind of what Bahamondes did. He does that little slide back cross that O'Malley's done. We talked about that last week maybe, just sliding back, landing that. It probably was Manel Cop, maybe, I don't know, somebody on last week's card. So I think the key to beating Manuel Torres is make his footwork worse. So obviously low kick him. Watch for the jab, and as the much shorter fighter that Rafael Fiziev is going to be, he's going to have to watch for the jab. But he can get under that jab and kind of start to land offense of his own. But he has to take this at a much slower and more deliberate pace. He can't afford to get into a brawl with Manuel Torres. I don't think that's in his best interest. Now, Torres, again, he's do or die all the time. The dude's game. He's got like 12 first-round finishes in his like 14 pro fights or something like that. It is absurd. The dude's a finisher, but he's fought some good fighters. I'll give him credit, but it's been like late-stage Drew Dober or Grant Dawson, who is known to lay an egg every now and then, right? So while he does get a bunch of first-round knockouts, he'll go up against a Ignacio Bahamondes, and he'll lose, or he'll get knee-barred in the Mexican regional scene. But since joining the UFC, first-round knockout, first-round elbow, first-round rear naked choke of Chris Duncan, Drew Dober first-round knockout, and Grant Dawson. That Dawson was kind of interesting, too, because he cuts that angle I was talking to you guys about a second ago, and just really kind of puts him down. So I think, personally, this fight is interesting on its own merits. What's at stake here is kind of all about Fiziev, because like if Fiziev can't make he can't beat the Manuel Torres of the world, what is he going to do? Like there's nothing else for you, bro. Looking at the new updated rankings here, and like at lightweight, Fiziev's not even ranked anymore in the AI rankings or the media rankings. So that's fair. He's been inactive. He's lost a lot of fights, so I give that to him. Let's see. Elsewhere on this card, boys, you've got Shara Bullet and Michel Pereira, which looks really fun on paper. But Michel Pereira's kind of washed. Let's be real here. He's washed and doesn't quite have the same pizzazz that he used to have. He'll do the flips and stuff, but like Shara Bullet's a fun and exciting striker. You remember the double back fist knockout. Struggled against MVP, but who doesn't? Especially if you're a striker. Like, we're not going to outstrike MVP. That's just not how it works. So I look to see kind of a showcase for Shara Bullet here. I don't know if Michel Pereira is going to have what it takes to beat him. Nazim Sadikov, everybody likes Sadikov, is fighting Mateus Camilo. Who's Camilo fought since he beat Slava Claus, which everybody's so high on Slava Claus. I don't rate him that great at all. Asu Almabayev, the ever small Asu Almabayev, is fighting Charles Johnson. That's fun. Charles Johnson, taking credence with the rankings, but like you look at who he's beaten. He's beat Joshua Van, he's beat Lonnie Kavanaugh, beat Bruno Silva. Like, he's got some good wins, but then he loses the good fight. So we'll find out if Almabayev is good or not. I have a feeling that Asu Almabayev is going to struggle with the size of Charles Johnson. So yeah, Ikram Maleskarov is back finally after some time away. He beat Andre Muniz and Jung Young Park. He didn't fight too often. You remember that short notice fight against Robert Whittaker where he got finished early, but he's come back with 2 good first round wins, fighting Bruno Ferreira. Bruno got nuked by Gregory Rodriguez, but he if he can take a fight late, he can win it. Choked out by Abu, so that's always never a good look. Speaking of Abu Smagomedov, he is fighting Michel Alexichuk. I like Alexichuk a lot. He's not the greatest fighter in the world, but he's interesting to me, and I think he brings some fun stuff to the table. Eric Nolan, who shouldn't be in the UFC, is back against Farman Hassanov. They're trying to get the Azerbaijani guys a win here. Let's see. Abdul Rahman Yakayev. Yakayev is good. I remember him from not long ago. Brendan Ribeiro. Dude, once he gets you on the ground, it's game over. This dude's a monster. So Yakayev is going to be somebody you want to watch. Fighting Julius Walker, 7-2. So if you're looking for like a light heavyweight that can kind of promise something here, look, watch Yakayev. He's got good promise. 9-0 out of Turkey, kind of an untapped market here. Nurshot Ruzaboyev is fighting Andrei Pulayev. Ruzaboyev's fun. Andrei Pulayev lost to Thibaut Gaudier. Like, yeah, this guy's trash. Kanan Ofli is fighting Javier Reyes. Denis Dunchenko is fighting Theodore Bregan. Bezkat Almakhan is back. That's the dude who gave Umar a hard fight, but then, drops the ball to Alessandro Pantoja. But Bezkat Almakhan, really good wrestler, is fighting John Matsumoto on the second fight of the night. That's a fun fight. Matsumoto's got really good hands, so we could see him kind of put forth some of that Alexandre Petros, listen to me, Alexandre Taporia game plan forward here. And then Tahir Abdullayev is fighting Jefferson Nascimento, opening the card. Neither guys have fought in the UFC before. 21-3, and then Nascimento is 13-0. LFA, real good fighters there. So we'll see what this card looks like. It looks like a lot of like local guys kind of getting their flowers, which is cool, I guess. Coming off of the White House card, we kind of gotta feel the schedule a little bit here. Anyways, guys, look, like, subscribe, all that. Playlist for Fight Finders. You know what to do with this. Go watch the docu-series if you haven't yet. Planning an episode with Cam Teague and maybe even Kurt Holloway next. So hopefully you guys will be able to tune in for that. Along with John L. Sullivan. I haven't forgot. I promise it's coming. Bye.